Why do people with immense talent disappear when things get tough? Why? While people with average skills become world-class phenomenal. For decades, I think we thought it was about willpower, a mysterious juice you're either born with or without. But cognitive science has revealed a different story. It's called grit, guys. It isn't a personality trait. It is a specialized function of your brain's architecture. And today we're going into the lab. We're going to break down the neurobiology of perseverance, and I'm going to show you how to literally rewire your brain for unbreakable mental fortitude. Welcome to today's platform. Rise and shine, oh rise and shine. Every time you push through a difficult task, you are thickening your neural pathway. Grit is a muscle and your brain is the gym. So you need to exercise a lot. We need that muscle, okay? So what is the role of dopamine, if you ask me, and quitting when things get tough? We often think grit is about pain tolerance. It actually is about dopamine management. Most people quit because they run out of reward signals. Their brain says this effort isn't worth payoff. Like the payoff I will get, I don't want, let it stay. And it shuts down your energy. The grit protocol is this: reward the effort, not the result. It means that if you wait to celebrate yourself once you have succeeded, then you lose the value of the process and your brain will see that this thing is not worth fighting for. But it is amazing if you reward yourself through the struggle. And what does that mean? I am working towards becoming very successful, to get this big house, to have this big car, and to live in a mega mansion. So while I'm working and saving up, I am awarding myself through the journey. So I have not yet gotten to the mansion. This will probably take me 10 years, 20 years to come. But in between there, I am waking up every day to go to work. Something that I really need, because that's where I get the money that I'm saving up for me to achieve the bigger dream that is going to come up in 20 years. So what you need to do, according to Carol, is you reward yourself and celebrate the process. So in the first year of you just making sure that you're waking up and going to work, award yourself. At the end of 3 years, you have not yet begun to build. You probably don't have the piece of land, but what you're doing is you are working towards it. How are you working towards it? You are saving up towards that particular project. So out of the money you have saved, you can actually get, even if it is 10%, and treat yourself. Probably buy something that is very needful for you at the moment. If, for example, you're tamarking, or you are Ubering to work, or you're just struggling with transport, you can decide, you know what, I have the bigger dream, but I need to make the journey comfortable for me even as I achieve. So when you do that and you reward yourself in regards to even getting to the future, what you're telling your brain is that this dream is worth fighting for. The energy, the effort, the timing, the money that you are saving up, and just unajinyima, right? You don't give yourself because you're saving up. It is worth it, and this will cause your brain to feel like this struggle that we're going through is worth it. And the other thing is, grit isn't a 20-year marathon. It is a series of 10-minute sprints. Okay, what does this mean? By breaking a massive goal into micro challenges, you give your brain frequent hits of dopamine, which means the quitting threshold, which puts the quitting threshold at bay. I have just talked about the dream for me is probably for 20 years, and that is not actually my dream. This is just for the sake of illustration. So using that example, what you do is you break your achievements into small goals, and this now keeps your dopamine boosted, yeah, through the challenges. So I have a 20-year-old plan. There is what I want to achieve, but because I can't do it within a day, it is a 20-year plan. Every other time, probably yearly, I can just set goals and be like, for the first year, I want to probably have set up a particular amount of money. In year 2, I want to maybe multiply that by whatever, and that keeps you going, because every other time you have enough dopamine to keep you going for the 20 years that you have to build. In year 20 or in year 15, you're like, you know what, by this time I need to have already probably acquired land, especially if you're in a place where you do not have an ancestral land to inherit from your parents, and you're like, I want to buy. Or you have inherited but you don't want to build there, you want to build somewhere else. So you make sure that the land is there. You can begin by fencing the environment, just making sure that the landscape is going before we begin the structure. So that way, so when you break this into small achievable goals that you can actually do within a short period of time, the dopamine will never lack, and you will continue to have enough to do, and thus you will put at bay the quitting threshold. When you feel like quitting, that's just your brain trying to save calories. It is a biological hallucination. Science shows us that usually we have like 10%, 40% more reserve than our brain lets us to believe. So when you're feeling like quitting, imagine, guess what? You still have 40% of the same energy reserved somewhere. So you need to believe otherwise. Your brain is lying. So we're going to talk about the interest practice loop, okay? Dr. Angela Duckworth, the leading research in grit, identified 4 psychological pillars that we are going to look at. Let's look at the science of why they work. So the first one is interest. Grit starts with intrinsic curiosity. Your brain processes information more effectively when you are actually interested in the subject. We are going to talk about this, and I know that it's very broad, but I'm just going to summarize. What do you mean by interest? Simple terms. For you to actually get the grit to continue working towards particular thing is just to make sure that whatever it is that you're working towards, man, it's interesting enough for you, not even for you, because at the end of the day, it's about you achieving, it's about you becoming. So make sure it's interesting for you, right? Okay, very important. Deliberate practice means that whatever it is that you are planning to do, first, you become interested in it. Then secondly, you deliberately practice it, okay? And once you're deliberately practicing it, it's easier because remember, it's something that you're interested in. So when you do deliberate practice, you see, we are moving towards the right direction. The third pillar is purpose. This is the global echo we talk about. When your work benefits others, your brain releases oxytocins, which act as a buffer against stress. Okay, so what does this mean? When the purpose is clear, I have seen a lot of people that probably feed the hungry, go out of their way and do this NGO kind of stuff where they just gather resources and help the community. Even when they do not have the resources, they will still organize the event in the hope that someone will come in and plug in. When they are stressed because they don't know where they're going to get enough resources to actually make this event a success, they still do it. Why? Because they know the purpose is bigger than them. They don't have the resources that they need, but they're working towards it. So they are in that place of just being very hopeful. And talking of hope is the fourth pillar. This is the cognitive belief that your efforts matter. Without hope, the brain enters learned helplessness, a state where the prefrontal cortex literally stops believing to solve problems. So when we're talking about hope, as I was giving the story of people who are just hopeful that, at the end of the day, someone is just gonna come. At the end of the day, people are gonna give. At the end of the day, people are gonna plug in. That hope just causes you to go forward. So the pillars are 4. I'm just going to say them very fast and then we move forward. So if you want your grit to work, number 1, get interested. Make sure that you're interested in whatever it is that you're doing. The second thing is deliberately practice that thing. I promise you, you will become amazing. The third thing is have a purpose as to why you're actually doing this thing that is interesting for you. Then the last thing is always hope that things are going to work out. So how, someone will ask me, do you build the unbreakable mindset? Because that is the reason why majority of you came to this video. Okay, how do you apply this? We use cognitive reframing. When you hit a wall, your internal dialogue usually says, this is too hard, you know. The gritty brain reframes it to, this is my brain growing a new connection. So I'm going to talk about the 24-hour rule. Never quit on a bad day. If you want to quit, do it on a day when you're winning. Most of the time, once you're winning, you won't want to quit. You have the ability to build a mind that doesn't just survive pressure, but thrives on it. And you can actually do it. For people who crack easily under stress, under pressure, just reframe your mindset and you can do this. Just be a very intentional person. The science is clear. Talent is a gift, but grit is a choice, okay? There are people that we have talked about. I started by asking you, why do very skilled people just fail and don't do things? Because then they give up. They're like, you know what, I'm talented, I'm good at this thing, but I have tried and it hasn't worked, so I give up. But people who have grit decide that, you know what, I have a choice. I know that I am not as skilled, as gifted as whoever, as so and so, but guess what, I'm gonna choose to win nonetheless, and I'm gonna change my mind. So that choice made repeatedly, that is what changes the world. My name is Marian Mikali. This is the Growth Space. Do you know I love you? I do, crazily. Yeah, growth is amazing. So let's keep growing. See you on the next one. I love you guys. Bye.